Good evening, everyone. Our January work session will now come to order. At this time, we're going to have a presentation about our SPS pharmacy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to call to the podium our Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Wendy Forsman, to discuss SPS Pharmacy. As a reminder to the board as well as to the school community, one of our information items from last month was an executive summary on the process and the savings that the SPS Pharmacy will be able to provide to our employees. We are estimating this to be able to begin at the end of the summer, early fall of 2023. Ms. Forsman?
Good evening. As Dr. Gordon explained, we're very excited about this opportunity to bring you the information on the pharmacy. It's been a long time, as you know, coming. For some of you who've been on the board a while, you know we've been talking about this almost 7 years. I want to explain first, for those of you who are new, what our health benefit is like so that you can understand why a pharmacy would be so beneficial to us. Our current health benefit is self-funded. What that means is that every dollar that is spent at the doctor's office, emergency room, urgent care, physical therapy, anywhere that we spend medical dollars, either the employee pays or Suffolk Public Schools pays. So the employee might pay the copay, Suffolk Public Schools, dollar for dollar, picks up the difference and pays that. That's what our total healthcare costs are. So it's not like insurance where you're paying for a premium for something and then the insurance company covers it. The reason that we're funded that way, and many cities, counties, and school districts are funded that way, is because then if there's a good year, you get to keep the difference. So you set your premiums, what people get taken out of their paychecks for deductions, and what the school division puts in. You set that so that it will cover costs, and on a good year, when costs are lower, you get to keep that as, it's not really profit, but you get to keep it as a reserve. And so we have a reserve on our balance sheet that's approximately 2 months worth of bills. They want you to have no more than 3 months, but we're at about 2 months, 2.2 months right now on the balance sheet. And so for us, we have a health benefits consultant who helps us through this process with all of our health benefits. They do our insurance benefits. I'm sure you've seen the payments to Arthur Gallagher on the payment of bills each month. So you'll see those payments. Those are for the people that are experts in this field that help us manage these huge dollars and how that they're spent and help us navigate. It's a difficult world of health benefits. But we're very excited to bring you tonight this pharmacy. So from a historical perspective, the reason that we did not pick a pharmacy up before now is because really cost. The cost was higher than the benefit that we would ever get back from it because retail costs are expensive. The cost of renting a retail space needed for a pharmacy is well over $500,000 a year before you start doing the pharmacy benefit. Then you have to contract with somebody. So you're $500,000 just for rent, and we just didn't have a place to put it. We would had to have rented a space, and it just was way beyond what we could do to get any kind of benefit back from it. Also, let me go back, sorry. We had potential partnerships. We tried to partner with other school divisions, with other cities. It just didn't work out. It was falling through. We just couldn't get it to work out for all of us to be a benefit for all of us. And then we needed really 2 or more spaces. As you know, Suffolk is huge. We needed 2 or more spaces in order to serve our people. So we really had that barrier there for us. Then the new operations center was built. And phase 2 then got pushed out by the city to funding of 2027 and beyond. And there's a large training room there that was, at the time I proposed this, largely unused. Okay, so we're very excited. I began looking at that, eyeing that, looking at that, talking to Dr. Gordon. And so we decided to go out for bid and see what we could get for a pharmacy service to help us put the pharmacy in place. We had to meet over there with the staff and make sure that the space was adequate, that it could do what we wanted it to do, that the needs that we had there were able to be met by the pharmacy because there's a lot of security and cameras and things that go along with having a pharmacy. And so we met with Arthur Gallagher and our consultants at Arthur Gallagher and talked through the process of the RFP. And there were several non-negotiables for us. It had to include delivery service to the northern end because we only had one and it was going to be there. And so we knew that that would not meet the needs of our folks that live and work in the northern end. So that was one of our non-negotiables, is it had to include delivery service. at least 3 days a week in order to serve those folks. It had to include mail order because that's what we needed to fill prescriptions, is that mail order, and we've really pushed over the years to get our folks to use that mail order, and we didn't want to lose that by having a pharmacy. And it had to have at least 34 hours a week in order to give people an opportunity to come there. If you have 20 hours, people can't get there in time. So we really wanted to make sure we had all those things in place. So you can see here is one of the pharmacies that Onsite RX has that they run out for one of their schools or municipalities. They didn't tell me which one, I'm sorry, but you can see kind of how it looks. It's very professional. It's very secure. The Onsite RX is headquartered in Gainesville, Georgia, and they formed in 2008. They specifically designed their pharmacies to lower prescription costs for campus-based programs like ours. They have 59 employees. They have school districts, counties, and municipalities. They have wholesale relationships with the pharmaceutical companies. They have access to the published clinical data. They have expertise in running the pharmaceutical equipment that they need in order to report the pharmaceutical stuff that they have there that's required of them by the state and federal government. And they have 9 pharmacies and credentials and licensing in several states, as you can see. The staff employed is a pharmacist in charge, a staff pharmacist, and a pharmacy technician. They all work for Onsite RX. They do not work for Suffolk Public Schools. However, we are in on the interviews. So we get to help pick who's going to work in our pharmacy. Now, they do work for Onsite RX, and we want them to because of the liability that's involved in that. But we do have an opportunity to help pick the personalities we feel are going to be best suited to meet our needs. Obviously, the location will be the operations center. Suffolk Public Schools does have to pick up the property and casualty insurance for the inventory only. We don't have any other liability, but we do have to insure the inventory, much like we insure tables, chairs, things in our schools. It's in our property, we have to insure it. It will be a separate rider. Then the liability insurance, as I said, is Onsite RX, and the equipment and fixtures are owned by Onsite RX. We do not own the equipment. They will put the shelving in place and everything in place. We don't have to do any of that. We'll set up an escrow account with them so that they can purchase pharmaceuticals without having to come to us every minute for money in order to purchase those pharmaceuticals. So it'll be like setting up a savings account that they hold on to and they work out of until they bill us, and then we reimburse. And so that's how they will purchase our pharmaceuticals. The licensure, management, compliance, audits, all of that stuff is managed by Onsite RX, so it is not a burden on the finance department to try to meet those audit needs. And the home delivery is all handled by Onsite RX from that location. They prepare it there, they put it together there, they send it out from there. So we don't have to worry about where it's going to be done from. It's not some third party in some other state doing that. It is our own pharmacy that is doing that for our own staff. You can see here again another view of inside the pharmacy, and it is very professional looking. Here are the shelving. You can see they're adjustable shelving. So what they do, what Onsite RX does, is they purchase our drugs at wholesale. Currently, when drugs are purchased, when the doctor writes the prescription to Rite Aid or CVS or someplace like that, Walmart, anywhere they write it to, we're paying retail cost. Not just the school division, but the employee. So if the employee has a $20 copay, they're paying that $20 copay. Suffolk Public Schools is paying the difference at retail cost. If they have a $40 copay, again, and then when you get to the specialty drugs, they're paying that larger copay plus 20% of the cost. So you can see how quickly that could add up for the employee to pay that retail cost instead of wholesale cost. We pay a monthly fee for the contract of our Onsite RX's services, which is normal. And the employees will pay the lesser of the wholesale cost or their copay. I'll give you an example. If you go in and you have a tier 1 prescription drug, which is a lowest generic tier, if you have a $10 copay now and the drug costs $1, you will pay $1. You will not pay the $10 copay. So it's a wonderful opportunity to provide that for our employees. They get a patient advocate in the pharmacist, and the pharmacist will help them look at cost-effective therapies. So if the pharmacist sees that they're on a certain therapy route, they can look for them for other drugs and provide that information to them because they are interested in them as our employee. Here is a chart that we've put together with our consultant to show if the percentage of employees use the pharmacy, what the gross savings would be for a 30-day supply or a 90-day supply. Remember, most of our folks do a 90-day supply, so we wanted to see it both ways. So you can see here that we could have some potential really good savings here at 1.4 million for the normalized supply, but our break-even point is just 40%. So at 30 to 40%, we'll be breaking even on our cost, which is phenomenal. We feel like we're going to be able to manage that within the first year and a half. We also have a proposed delivery schedule to the northern end. We haven't finalized this yet, so it is subject to somewhat change. And I don't have the days of the week, I'm sorry, because we haven't finalized everything. But 2 afternoons a week at Colonel Fred Cherry Middle School, 1 afternoon at Nansemond River High School, and 1 afternoon a week at Florence Bowser. This will all occur after students have left the building, so you don't have any liability with students being anywhere near the building. All prescriptions would be prepaid by the employees. No monetary transactions would happen at the school. It would all happen prior to that ever happening. Be prearranged with the employee by the pharmacy. The pharmacy would contact the employee, let them know when and how they're going to be able to get to their prescription. And the pickups would occur, of course, again, after school is out. So the RFP will be going out to build out the pharmacy the way we want it built out. However, what we found out yesterday, was it yesterday? Is that our costs are only going to be, they were estimated at $450,000, only going to be between $20,000 and $30,000. So very little money is going to have to go in, and that's really mostly for the plumbing and the sink that they need in the pharmacy. The security and the cameras and all that is all provided by On-Site RX. They provide that and the service to do that. Ongoing cost, as you can see, $565,080 annually. And what happens is this will be paid not out of expense, so it won't come to the expense accounts in the operating fund. Remember I told you about the reserve that we have where the money flows into? Well, this will be where we take the money from to pay for this, because the credits we get and the savings we get will all go back to that account. So we want it to flow in and out of the same account for accountability purposes. So we break even between really 30 and 40% now because that 450 isn't there. And the grand opening, we hope, will be in July or August this year. Are there any questions?
Board members, at this time, we're going to have questions, but I do ask that you limit your question time to be fair of other board members. The way we're going to do it is we're going to open questions. If this side has a question first, before another board member on this side get to ask the question, we will jump over to this side of the room. Okay? Board members, are there any questions?
I have a question. Ms. Forsman, this is only for prescription drugs? Is it for vaccines?
No, we won't be doing the wellness part of the clinic because there wasn't enough room.
Okay.
We've had to use those office spaces, as you know, and so we didn't have office space for a wellness clinic at this time.
Right, because I know some school systems give flu shots, they give all kinds of things that really save the employees a great deal of money. Is that something that might be considered possibly in the future, or?
I'd like to if we can find the space.
Okay, if we could find a
Yes,
correct
ma'am.
space.
Yes, ma'am.
And if I could just add to that, Ms. Byron, we will continue with our normal vaccine clinics that we do
Okay.
as a separate piece to this that we had already established pre-COVID with flu shots and also any other COVID vaccines that come out. We will continue with that.
Board Member Jenkins?
Yes, thank you so much for your presentation. I have 2 quick questions. Can you tell me what will the hours be again after school? But what, is it up till 7 or?
Yeah, we haven't established. There's 34 hours a week,
Okay,
and we're going to work those around our delivery schedule as well.
okay, and my next question is, will it provide all types of medication?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
like you can leave Rite Aid and we'll be able to come to our Suffolk Public
ma'am.
School?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you.
Board Member Brooks Buck?
I actually don't have a question, but a comment. We've been trying to do this since 2015, and I am just so happy that we're doing it. I have one word, hallelujah. Thank you so much for getting this done. Thank you.
Are there any additional board members with questions? Comments? Vice Chair Howe?
Thank you, Ms. Forsman, for your presentation. I just want to clarify, make sure I understood correctly. It's entirely staffed by on-site,
Yes,
and so the database that the information would come to from the doctors is only accessed by on-site.
correct.
Okay.
We
so-
have nothing to do with any of that portion of this.
Okay, that's it.
Any board member Barron?
I have another question. Currently, many of our employees have to use certain pharmacies for their prescriptions. Will that still be the case, or will all of them now, if you go into this program, use this facility?
You're covered by Suffolk Public Schools health benefit. You will have the opportunity to use this pharmacy, and we are going to make it advantageous for our folks to use it.
Right.
It will cost more to go to the other pharmacies than it will to our own, so we will definitely make it advantageous for our folks to use it.
Board member Slinglove?
Thank you for your presentation. On that note, if it is currently, if an employee is using a specialty pharmacy for a drug or medication that is not provided at, say, a CVS or Walgreens, is that type of medication also going to be provided, or is that still going to be likely to be required from a specialty pharmacy?
It will depend. Some of those specialty drugs have to be mixed a certain way and have to be done through a certain type of lab. I believe those kind will still have to be done through that. But they will be able to provide us tier 1, 2, and 3 drugs, which includes most specialty drugs. There are some, though, as I said, that are very specialized that we probably will not be able to do because they have to be done in a lab.
Are there any additional questions or comments? Ms. Forsman, I have one question, and then I would like to give a comment. What factors were taken into consideration when determining which areas of the city or our school division as it relates to delivery? For an example, we're delivering to the northern end, but I see we're not delivering to our southern end, like southwestern. So if you could explain that for me.
Sure. We looked at zip codes where our folks live, and we looked at concentrations of where our folks live. And more than 3/4 of our folks live in the northern end, Chesapeake and Western Branch area. So we felt like that was the end we should concentrate on to begin with. I won't say we won't ever go to the southern end, but if we get enough requests for that and we have enough savings in there, we absolutely will look at delivering to the southern end.
I just want to take this time to say thank you for a job well done. It was an excellent presentation. I think this is us moving in the best interest of our staff. It will help us with a lot of great cost savings. And this is SPS leading the way. And that's our goal. We want to be the premier school division, not only in the Commonwealth, but in the country. And this is definitely a step in the right direction. Thank you. At this time, we will have our calendar presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to call to the podium our Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Akima Branch, that's going to provide the calendar presentation and staff recommendation to the board. As Mr. Littlefield is getting Dr. Branch teed up for this presentation, I do want to remind the board that all calendar work that we do is actually a regional consortium. Dr. Branch is actually taking the lead in many of those areas, and we review calendars from all 7 cities, not only for next year, but also for years to follow. Dr. Branch?
Good evening, Board Chair, Vice Chair, school board members, and Dr. Gordon. I am pleased to present the 2023-2024 SPS Calendar Committee, as well as the Calendar Committee process and timeline, the options that the committee voted on and went through a very thorough process to get to, and then our recommendation. The Calendar Committee is composed of 37 members, 7 of which are administrators, 7 are teachers, 7 are parents, and then 16 representatives from varied departments and advisories throughout the division. It's very important that these are volunteer positions per school, and so each year we ask schools to provide this information to their parents, their community, to ask who wants to be a part of it. And so when you see that the teachers are there, they were asked to be on the committee. Where you see parents, they were asked to be on the committee and volunteered their time. The representatives from each department are there each year, but we rotate who is actually a part so staff get the opportunity to work with the calendar committee. This is very important as it diversifies the thinking of how the calendar should move forward, what we should expect, what are some things we should consider in the process. I facilitate the process. That means I provide the guidance and guidelines, the historical perspective, some parameters, some things we have to consider from the state, the Virginia Department of Education, some things that are required in a school's calendar. So I provide the facilitation. As I tell the committee members, I do not make the final decision. I bring everything that we work collaboratively on multiple late nights to do and put that in a format to present. We go back and forth and there is a voting process. This year we had, as we do every year, 3 virtual meetings. We do this at 6 p.m. at night, and when I say that it's a long day and a lot of discussion, it is. We begin the process in November after we have secured all committee members and department and advisories. We send them the schedule. Everyone agrees that they're going to meet. We ensure that they have access to a working folder where we have all of our documentation, previous year's calendars, regional calendars, as Dr. Gordon mentioned, because many of our decisions have to be considered with other school divisions because our staff, as Ms. Forsman stated, live in varied areas. And so we do make those considerations. And as a region, I am the representative for Suffolk Public Schools as it relates to the calendar. We share information so that everyone is making an attempt to be in alignment. There are 4 subgroups that come out of this 37-member committee. They meet separately. That's in addition to our 3 required virtual meetings. They meet separately to develop their drafts of what our calendar should look like. Our calendar committee, as I mentioned, works through a shared folder. We don't withhold any information that is a resource or support to all of them. That also includes holiday observations or national, whether it's national or local, whether it's required or not, as well as articles and information, even legal documentation as it relates to the calendar. The calendar committee then comes back during our 2nd and 3rd meeting, and we start working on drafts. At the 3rd meeting, they present from each subgroup their draft. And that is our longest night because we have a lot of discussion and deliberation really on what the committee believes based on their information and feedback from their constituents is the best calendar option. Then we vote, and so we put out all the information from each subcommittee and their drafts. Some subcommittees do 2 drafts, an option 1 and option 2, and some may choose only to do 1. But we vote on all of that. Based on the vote, there is an option 1 and an option 2 that I'm presenting as this came from the committee. Option 1 includes full and half clerical days, and the clerical days are the days teachers would work independently in many cases with planning and doing things that are in preparation maybe for parent-teacher conference or working on collaborative planning groups, etc. There are 9 early release days, 2 full and 1 half professional learning day. This is an added consideration because we are moving to the 4x4 block schedule. And at the end of the first semester in most 4x4 block schedules, school divisions take time off to prepare schedules, finalize testing, and prepare for the next semester because you go into new classes. In option 1, there is 2.5 end-of-semester transition days where there will be no students. That begins actually on the proposed draft on a Friday, and then Monday and Tuesday, where those days will also include, although there are no students, each of those days is dedicated to professional learning for instructional staff, while the non-instructional staff, but the school counselors and administrators are actually working on schedules and preparing for the new semester. That's very important, as this option allows for a full day of professional development for the elementary, and then a full day for the secondary. They swap and then have clerical time in their buildings. 3 parent-teacher conference half-days. The fall break for both calendar options, it was very important that we it was very important and recommended that we keep the Wednesday through Friday. They like having the full day Wednesday off and then through the fall break. Winter break would be a half a day on Wednesday, December 20th. December 20th is the same time we were out this year, through Monday, January 1st, 2024. That's 8.5 total days. Spring break is the same, and it's the same regionally, again, as we work with the region. And there are some parameters as a region we follow as it relates to the timing of spring break, whether it's before Easter is before or after April 15th. The last day of school for students and staff would be Friday, June 14th, 2024. Option 2, and let me remind you that this is based on votes. So we had a tally. In an electronic system, we used a Google form, and everyone voted. 3 full and 7 half clerical days, 8 early release days, 1 full and 1 half professional learning days, 2 end of semester transition days, 2 parent-teacher conference half days, fall break being the same. Winter break, the difference would be a full day on Wednesday, December 20th through January 1st, which equates to 9 days. Spring break is the same, but the last day of school for students and staff would be Tuesday, June 18th, 2024. It is the recommendation of the calendar committee as well as the leadership that the board consider option 1 for the 2023-2024 school calendar. Any questions?
Board members, before we open the floor for questions and/or comments, I just want to take this time to remind you that we will be taking action on this matter later on tonight at our meeting. So let's ask our questions now, because when the meeting commences, we may not be able to dive into it. At this time, are there any questions, board members? Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you.
Branch, for an excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Okay. At this time, we will go into recess, and we'll resume at 7 o'clock for our general meeting. Good evening, everyone. At this time, the Suffolk City Public Schools January 2023 Board meeting will come to order. We will ask if everyone could stand and join our illustrious students from Kings Fork High School as they lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. It is truly an honor to have some of our students out tonight, and when called upon to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, they rose to the occasion, and we are grateful. That's a hint of the future in which we're moving in. We want a more inclusive involvement of giving our students an opportunity to come out and have a part in their local governing body that oversees their day-to-day instructional lives. So before we move forward on the agenda, I just want to make sure that we take this time to set the tone and that our atmosphere is in the right atmosphere and we're all on the same piece of sheet music. Our first priority is student achievement. We are here for the students. We are not here for personal gain. We're not here for personal group affiliations. We're not here to have aha, I told you so moments, but we are here to synthesize our ideas together to do what's right and in the best interest of our students. With that being said, I would just want to point everyone back to our division's mission statement. And the mission of Suffolk Public Schools is to partner with community to provide an effective educational experience and to prepare every student to find success in our complex society. And today, we will move forward to achieving that mission. At this time, we are going to seek an approval of our agenda. Do we have a motion or a discussion? Anything?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chair, I would like to put forth a motion to add to new business a discussion about board development and training.
At this time, there's been a motion on the floor, and it has been seconded already.
I second.
It's been second. Board Member Brooks Buck, would it be okay to amend your motion?
Yes.
Okay. So the new motion would read to approve the agenda with the amendment of board member development and training under new business. Okay. Madam Clerk.
Board members, please vote. You're voting on the machine in front of you. It should be flashing. Motion passed.
Right. At this time, we are at public comments, and we will have our citizens who are going to speak regarding agenda topics. At this time, we're going to ask our Madam Clerk if she will read our statement, and then we will have our first speaker.
It is the intent of the school board to ensure that the affairs of the board be conducted in an open and orderly manner, that all persons desiring to address the board are afforded an opportunity to do so in the order in which they sign up to speak, that persons in attendance may observe and hear the proceedings of the board without distraction, and that the members of the board and board employees are able to transact the business of the board with minimal disruption. Any persons addressing the board shall, 1, confine their comments to matters germane to the business of the school board of the city of Suffolk. 2, refrain from words or statements which from their usual construction and common acceptance are construed as insults and tend to incite violence or breach of the peace. 3, refrain from obscenity, vulgarity, or other breach of respect. 4, comply with the time limit for public comment as set by the board, which can be up to 5 minutes, unless the board, through the exercise of its discretion, decides to allow less than 5 minutes for public comment. 5, refrain from cumulative or repetitive remarks. And 6, refrain from making any comment regarding any pending student discipline or employee grievance matters. The appropriate form for such matters is the applicable administrative hearing provided by state law or, where appropriate, court proceeding. Expressive activities including, but not limited to, petitioning, picketing, displaying signs or posters, solicitation, demonstrating, pamphlet distribution, and conducting polls shall not be permitted in the waiting areas and corridors of any school building in which the board is meeting. Persons addressing the board may deliver to the board or its clerk written materials including reports, statements, exhibits, letters, or signed petitions, and may also make use of any chart or graph during their verbal presentation. The school board welcomes comments from the public as appropriate. Board members will listen to public comment, but will not comment, deliberate, or take action on them. The school board chair may direct the superintendent to investigate items and report back to the school board at a subsequent meeting. The chairman or other presiding officer shall preserve decorum and shall decide all questions of public order subject to appeal to the board. At the request of the chairman or superintendent, a city police officer shall act as sergeant-at-arms at tonight's board meeting. That officer shall, under the direction of the chairman, superintendent, or other presiding officer, have charge of the auditorium, the waiting areas, and corridors adjacent thereto, and shall prevent disorder or interruption of the business of the board. Please state your name and address before speaking.
At this time, our first speaker will be Dr. Deborah Wallstrom, and she will be speaking on the topic purchase cards and policies. Dr. Deborah Wallstrom. Okay, I don't see Dr. Wallstrom in the audience at this time, so we're going to move forward to the next item on the agenda. And the next item on the agenda is reports by superintendent. Dr. Gordon, it's in your hands.
Thank you, Mr. Riddick. I'm going to call to the podium our Communications and Community Engagement Officer, Ms. Antoinette Dickens, to report on our Good News Report, Spotlight on Destination 2028, our new strategic plan, chronic absenteeism that's been reduced division-wide, our new SPS website and mobile app that is coming for the next couple of weeks, feature from Wavy 10 on ELL and our partnership, Fine and Performing Arts, SPS in the news, our awards and recognitions, including grants, our December Teacher Spotlight, and then I will close with the calendar of special events. Ms. Dickens?
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Gordon. Good evening, Chairman Riddick and Vice Chair Howell. And of course, to all in attendance at the meeting tonight. I want to start our Good News Report by highlighting our new strategic plan, Destination 2028. So on January 3rd, just to give you some quick background, on January 3rd of this year, we kicked off our strategic plan, and Dr. Akima Branch, our Chief Academic Officer, outlined our strategic plan process in a presentation to board members at the July 2021 board retreat. So a few of the members currently on the board were present. For those of you who are new, during the planning process, board members were asked to create a 3 to 5 strategic plan goal statement focusing on student achievement, climate and culture, family and community engagement, and operational efficiency. And at the Suffolk School Board Strategic Plan Work Session held in November of last year, of 2021, board members completed a SWOT analysis to identify their perceptions of the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats against our school division. So using this information and input from our community and stakeholders, we were able to create the 2023-2028 strategic plan. So what our communications team did with this information is put together a video to share the vision behind the plan's development and discuss the goals and initiatives that our community and stakeholders can expect for 2023-2028. And in this video features our superintendent, Dr. Gordon, of course, and our former chair, Dr. Judith Brooks-Bucks. So we definitely encourage you to check out the video on our SPS YouTube channel as we head into a new direction for 2023. Okay, thank you. So our chronic absenteeism campaign started in November of 2022 and consisted of a series of social media posts, school messenger, electronic emails, building posters, postcards, and handouts from our school division. The campaign was created to address an area of concern around student attendance. So at the time, we were seeing significantly high numbers of students chronically absent. And for clarification, chronic absenteeism is missing 10% or more of school days due to absences for any reasons that's excused or unexcused absences. So since our division began the School Attendance Matters campaign and emphasized how attendance is an important component of student learning and achievement, we've actually seen a significant reduction of absenteeism division-wide. So it is clear that the campaign is making a positive impact on student daily attendance, and will continue to emphasize attendance and encourage our students to be present each and every day. Okay, so this is the video. So Suffolk Public Schools is launching a new website, and rather than listen to me tell you about it, we've created a video to share with you some highlights to come of the new site. So we'll take a moment for our tech team to pull that video back up on the screen. It's about 2.5 minutes long.
Suffolk Public Schools has a new look. We are excited to launch our newly redesigned SPS division-wide website this January. Over the past year, our communications and community engagement team has been working with Final Site to build a website that better reflects our school community. The site's updated navigation channels, about us, departments, academics, students, families, school board, careers, community, and newsroom allow visitors to the site to find information quickly and efficiently. Students, staff, and parents can browse categories using our mega menu or find information using our quick links. Content pages are more engaging, giving visitors a better insight into academic programs and offerings. We now have 12 global icons with a few new additions, such as English language learners and military family resources. Follow our district news or see what's happening in our division by visiting our upcoming events and announcements. You can also see what's happening on our social media feeds in real time. The new site is mobile responsive to fit any device or tablet and can be translated into any of over 50 languages offered by Google Translate. Final Site's built-in accessibility tool makes it even easier for SPS to keep all web content ADA compliant, making communication accessible all throughout our division. Did we mention that our schools are getting a new look as well? All 21 schools in our division will have a newly redesigned website coming this January. Stay tuned for more information.
All right, so those are just a few things to come that we're really excited about. We're expected to launch our new website on January 30th of this year. All right. All right, so we recently had an amazing opportunity with our ELL, our English language learner students in grades 4 through 8. In partnership with Wavy 10. For those of you who don't know, Wavy 10 has a weekly headline show in Spanish. It's a new initiative as part of their efforts to reach as many people in our community as possible. Our community engagement and ELL teams began coordinating prior to winter break to determine how SPS could take advantage of this opportunity. And as a result, we were invited as the very first school division in Hampton Roads to participate in Wavy's Spanish News broadcasting project for students. So it's a bilingual storytelling workshop to help develop bilingual student reporters. John Downing, he's the weekend evening anchor and bilingual reporter at Wavy 10, along with his news director, actually came out yesterday to visit our ELL students at Florence Bowser Elementary and at John F. Kennedy Middle. So our 6th through 8th graders worked on excellent educator scripts in English and Spanish, and then all classes received 3 different news stories in English and Spanish to use as samples to write their own news stories, their own bilingual news stories. So the cool thing about this initiative is that, or this project, is that the students get to write their own script and submit them to AV10, and the best script selected will be aired on the show. So very cool opportunity there for our ELL students. All right, and there you can see a group photo from yesterday. That one was actually taken over at JFK. So Dr. Creekmore, our division ELL teacher, and Mr. Stephen Edwards were collaborators on this project with the community engagement team. So of course, we just like to thank them for helping to make this opportunity available. And more good news coming out of our Fine and Performing Arts Department for our rising 9th through 12th grade students who can now enroll in a new guitar class beginning fall 2023. Students interested can see their school counselor, or they can sign up using the QR code on the flyer now through March 1st. And the flyer was sent out via Peach Jar and School Messenger for more details and information. So periodically, we also like to highlight our good news featured in local news. So over the past month, we've been highlighted about 3 times. The first one here in December, which featured some of our students during the Sounds of the Season. We also had our Tiara Tuesdays, which Dr. Branch participated in as well as our 2 reporters there at Wavy. And we also had, John. I guess this is what happens on the first school board meeting, right? Keep going. And then we also had our superintendent featured on an interview with WTKR Channel 3 highlighting our district's participation in all district reads. And these stories are still live online, so if you visit Wavy 10 or WTKR online, you can find them and read more. All right, so we have a special recognition tonight for our superintendent, Dr. John B. Gordon III, who was selected as our 2022 Superintendent to Watch by NSPRA, our National School Public Relations Association. So Dr. Gordon was selected out of one of 24 superintendents across the nation to receive this honor in recognition of his innovative and effective use of technology to engage and inform the school community to expand two-way communication and outreach efforts. And you've seen some of those with his Facebook Live, with the podcast that he's put out, as well as the digital video content that we've included on our YouTube channel. So I want to take a moment just to invite Dr. Gordon down to the podium, along with our Chair Riddick, for a photo opportunity. And Dr. Gordon.
I got a shirt.
So many. We want to give you, and I build the best SPS shirt. Thank you for your leadership and your service, your support of all of us, and especially our students, and congratulations on this honor.
Thank you so much.
Turn that way. I've never been on the other side.
We good?
I know. I'm just so confused.
So as he's walking back, I just want to share with you all just a little bit more background. So Dr. Gordon, of course, is a firm believer in nuanced communication, and under his leadership, SPS actually created its first social media specialist position at the administrative level. So we, I think, might have been the first district to do that. After it was done, we received inquiries from other districts on how it was done and to share the job description with them. So clearly, we're making waves when it comes to updated and nuanced communication across Hampton Roads.
Very good.
All right, so of course, we always want to acknowledge our grants and awards received by the division. So the Science Department received a grant for $1,500 from the Community Action Coalition of Virginia, and those funds will be used to support Lakeland High School's environmental science students' water usage project. And as always, we highlight our teachers across the division who are doing excellent and outstanding work. For the month of December, we'll highlight the following: Evelyn Dara from Booker T. Washington Elementary, Terry Menemy from Lakeland High, Kelly Outlaw from John Yates Middle School, Sierra Brooks from Creekside Elementary, Nicole Russell from Nansemond River High School, Cynthia Crandall from Kings Fork High School, Christina Havlin, also from Kings Fork High School, Jennifer Johnson from Creekside Elementary, and Wayne Rao and Kim Falk from Mac Ben Junior Elementary. So if you know any of these teachers or if you see them, just be sure to give them a congratulations. All right, thank you for your time this evening.
Yes. Thank you so much, Ms. Dickens. And you all really did surprise me with that one. I did not know that was coming. And that recognition from NASPRA, the National School Public Relations Association, wouldn't have come forward without the hard work of Dr. Dickens, Ms. Dickens, our community engagement officer, and Dr. Akima Branch, our chief academic officer. And as I looked through the list, once we had received the recognition, I saw our current and former state superintendents, many others. This is like the top of the line award in the communications field. And Ms. Dickens is right, where we try to do things a lot differently, but more importantly, none of this would have been able to happen without Ms. Dickens and her outstanding team. I mean, the ideas that we come up with, you can see the great work from Danny Epperson on our school website that we're going to release on January 30th, the Starcast with our podcast, the Facebook Lives that have been often imitated and tried to be duplicated. But it's a situation where we always wanted to make sure that we put a lot of rules in, we were modeling and practicing what we preach. And the ideas that we come up with wouldn't be able to happen without the support of our school board, as well as the outstanding leadership team that we've assembled here in SPS. So we're going to continue to grow with some different ideas. Ms. Hatton is great, and Melvin Bradshaw has done a tremendous job. I mean, their whole team, and they are finally fully staffed, as we now have our last person to be hired in the community engagement office to be able to take care of some additional duties. One of the things that Ms. Dickens did mention was our SPS Attendance Matters and SPS Present Everyday campaign. And just to give everyone some background, when we started this campaign, we were averaging about 1,500 students being absent a day. And Suffolk Public Schools has 14,400 students. In order for our school division and our schools to be accredited, as she mentioned earlier with chronic absenteeism, this means that we have to have 95% of our kids to be present every day. So if you do the math, this means that no more than 720 kids can be absent in a day. And so we're right around 90%. 90%, and regardless of all the phone calls, the letters that were being sent out, the automated messages, Mr. Dave Lefebvre making home visits, all of these things that were occurring, we didn't feel like we were making a difference. So we wanted to kind of change our campaign strategy, and we have made a huge dent where because of this campaign, we have seen a reduction in absenteeism by 500 students. And so we still have some work to do there, But it's still a good step in the right direction, and we also put information out there about tardies and the effect that has in the classroom as well. So Ms. Dickinson's team now is going to continue to send out reminders. We send out postcards, we do home visits, and then we ask very, very simple questions. Did your child come to school today? I mean, that is just a very basic question. And the good thing about contacting the schools, let us know, yeah, little John Gordon was at home and he could have came to school today. I mean, those things are beginning to happen just because of the awareness piece. Mr. Riddick, my last piece is the calendar of special events. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday is Monday, January 16th. I know there are several MLK events happening throughout the city, including one that will be happening at Kings Fork High School. On January 30th, we have a half day for professional learning that is also early release for students. The end of the 9 weeks is January 30th, parents, students. Yeah, she's clapping because she's getting excited back there. This also means this will be a time for all of our makeup work to be due, and teachers will also configure their grades and make sure everything is done for the first semester. The second semester begins the next day, January 31st. Report cards, go home. February 8th, put it on your calendar, put it on your refrigerator. January is National Mentoring Month. February is Black History Month. It is also School Board Appreciation Month. We have some good goody and tasty treats for our school board members. February is also Career Technical Education Month, celebrated by Mr. Skinner and his entire team. February 4th is National Wear Red Day. National School Counseling Week is February 6th to the 10th. And our next school board meeting, Mr. Chair, will be February 9th. Thank you. That includes the good news report.
Thank you, Dr. Gordon. I just want to take this moment to toot our own horn here. If you didn't have an opportunity to witness our work session, you missed a treat. We got to talk about some great things that are coming down the pipeline for Suffolk Public Schools, and I made a statement that it is our goal to be the premier division in the Commonwealth, not only just in the Commonwealth, but in the country. And as you saw tonight, we are inspiring a shared vision while modeling the way. Great things are happening in Suffolk Public Schools. And at this time, without further ado, we are moving to our consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the consent agenda.
The motion has been made by Board Member Brooks Buck and second by Board Member Jenkins. Are there any discussion?
Yes. Board Chair Riddick, I would like to just take a moment to recognize that I understand, being that it's on the consent agenda, that a vote of approval is to approve everything underneath the consent agenda as listed. And when I opened up the bills and payroll for December of 2022, I felt that there was not enough information for me to clearly be able to offer that vote of approval. So I did take the opportunity to speak with Dr. Gordon, and I had the privilege of talking with him as well as Ms. Forsman, and I was greatly appreciative of that time because they went through and explained a lot of processes for me so that I would understand how they verify and validate all of the purchases that are in there. I would like to say that I am going to vote to approve the entire consent agenda tonight based upon that conversation, but I would like to request that going forward there be some additional descriptor information added to the information, the purchases that are placed on that report, so I can better offer my vote of approval with confidence in the future.
Thank you so much. Just to speak light so everyone be on the same sheet music, when we receive the consent agenda, we're not approving the purchases. That's the day-to-day operations. When we vote yes or no, it's actually whether we receive the report or not. But I do appreciate Board Member Slinglove for reaching out to our superintendent and our chief financial officer, because we're better together. I'm going to just put it out there for what it is. We are your NFL team. We may not have been everyone's number one pick, but this is what we have. And the goal is to win the championship. Am I correct? The goal is to win the championship and for our students to succeed and for our staff to be glad to work here. And that's the direction we're moving in. Is there any other comments? Madam Clerk?
Board members, please vote. Motion passed.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is new business, and we have a WHRO presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to call to the podium Mr. Bert Schmidt from WHRO to provide his annual report to the school board, as Suffolk Public Schools is one of the partners/owners of WHRO with several other school divisions in the Tidewater area. This is our public access channel, and Mr. Schmidt provides a report that is actually in the presentation. Mr. Schmidt?
Chairman Riddick, or maybe I should say Coach Riddick, members of the board, Dr. Gordon, thank you for allowing me to speak with you tonight. As Dr. Gordon said, my name is Bert Schmidt. I'm the president and CEO of WHRO. With me is Elmer Seward. He's my vice president of education, so if you have the hard questions, I got backup. I come to you tonight because you're one of the 21 school divisions that literally own the license to WHRO. We're the only station in the entire country that has this model. We provide to you each year an impact statement, and you hopefully got a copy of this impact statement. I'm not going to go through all the details, but you get that every year, and then every other year I come on out and speak to you. You can see the map. These are the school divisions that literally own the license to WHRO. So I come out to each school division every other year and give you a quick update about the activities that you've invested in. So we start with eMedia VA. eMedia VA is a digital repository of learning objects. It could be videos, audio, games, apps, lesson plans, anything you can digitize. We collect content from national organizations like the Smithsonian, National Archives, Library of Congress, but more importantly from organizations throughout Virginia, nonprofits, universities, museums, etc. We bring them into one place for teachers to find great content. We correlate it all to the Virginia Standards of Learning. We make it easily searchable by keyword, by media type, all sorts of ways to make it very easy for teachers to find great digital content in the classroom. It is free of charge to every public, private, and homeschooler in Virginia. We've had a contract with the Department of Education for about 10 years now. Within that contract, not only do we just offer the service, but we also produce for the Department of Education a lot of content that they've asked us to create as well. So again, eMedia VA last year was used over 2 million times by schools throughout the Commonwealth. We do a lot of professional development for your teachers. You can see some samples last year of the kind of professional development we did. Of course, we were still dealing with COVID last year, so a lot of that was done through Zoom. We'll get people back in the station now that we're hopefully getting behind some of this COVID stuff. We also provide a lot of online courses. This is really one of the key things we provide. Schools have come to us knowing that it was too expensive to do it on their own, and the commercial vendors were really expensive, so they asked WHRO to create courses. We have created, and you can see the list, 28, mostly high school, a few middle school courses. This is the full course, and it's not just videos. These are highly interactive experiences that many of your students used during the pandemic and are used throughout the year. The owners of WHRO get to use these courses for free. You actually own them. We're like the manufacturer. We make the course, we give them to you, you put them in your own learning management system, and you use your own school policies, whether it's fully online, flipped, hybrid. You use your teachers, and then we actually do take the courses and sell them to schools that aren't one of the owners of the school. So they pay about $10,000 per course for other school divisions around the Commonwealth. So we are in the middle of creating some other courses I'll get to in a minute. Every course, of course, the end user is the student, so we have a student advisory board to make sure that the way we create the courses are engaging for students. So we have students from around the region come together and help advise our team about how to make sure that these courses are engaging for students in 2023. I talked about courses we made a couple of years ago. The state asked us to create the first African American history course in Virginia. That course is now available to everyone in the state as an elective. You can see some of the elements within that course. We are also in the process of developing an environmental science course that should be ready for next school year. We do a lot of work in the environmental space. I could go through all sorts of initiatives, but I want to show you. You may recall, well, not many of you look like you're my age, but if you were my age, you might remember Schoolhouse Rock.
I remember it.
Some of you say you remember. So that was using music, animated shorts to teach lessons. Well, we've done the similar thing using local musicians with our animators to teach environmental topics. And here's a sample that we call Green Beats.
Everybody say green beat!
With an entertaining show, a colorful van, interesting lessons, and engaging interactives and games, the WHRO Environmental Van Experience is much more than a great collaboration with the Virginia Stage Company. It is a highly immersive and memorable way for students to become the environmental stewards of tomorrow.
Our activities on tablets, our characters from our Green Beat series, and it's a whole immersive activity for K-5 students. So we'll talk more about the vans, but we come out to schools and it's a whole day of immersive. In fact, we were recently awarded the National Award for the most innovative use of technology within the public media sector. We love to celebrate smart kids. I love to do that, and we do that in a number of ways. First off, the PBS Kids Writers Contest we've been doing for about 15 years. Children K through 5, they write and illustrate stories, they send them in, we have a judging panel. Then the winners, we actually create a TV show out of the winners. The kids get to read their stories, we animate their stories, and we get to celebrate these amazing stories. And if you ever come into the WHRO building, in the hallways, you'll see all those winners up throughout the hallways of WHRO. The spelling bee we've been doing now for 15 years. Middle school, 6th through 8th grade kids in the division. Hopefully you're getting your local bees happening soon. The winners of those middle schools come to WHRO in February for the regional bee. And the winners of the regional bee go on to the national spelling bee. We are going to get a national champion one of these days, I'm confident. Every year the kids get better and better. And the Great Computer Challenge, some of you may have been young enough to participate because it's been going on for 37 years. K through 12 teams come together and compete in various software programs and languages. It's on the campus of ODU. For many students, it's the first time on a college campus to get a whole immersive experience there, and they get to show off their great skills. Some of the winners are included in your packet as well. When the pandemic happened, one of the things we were doing before the pandemic was going out and doing a lot of reading books to kids. Of course, with the pandemic, you couldn't do that. So Miss Martha, who runs our early childhood services, did a Facebook Live story, reading the stories from our PBS Kids Writers Contest. So the kids K through 5 who were writing stories, their stories were being read through now a Facebook Live thing. And because it's been so popular, we get about 10,000 views every week. We just continued it since the pandemic's been over. So it's been super popular, and a lot of folks have joined Martha in doing that. Vans, we have 3 vans that would love to come out to the region and work with your early childhood providers. The literacy van, an environmental science van, as well as a STEM van. All sorts of activities for really K through 3, I would say. Come out, work with your teachers and the appropriate subject matters. Our folks come out, just give us a call, and we'll be out here with the vans and having a great experience. And again, you'll notice all the vans have all the PBS Kids characters that they are very familiar with through our television programming. As board members, you care about the return on your investment. And in the impact statement I provide you on page 13, there is a summary of your investment. You invest $3 per student. That translates to about $40,000 a year. Last year, you received savings in value of $525,000. That's a return on investment of $13 for every dollar you invested. I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
Board members, we're going to follow the same decorum as we did earlier. If you have questions, if a board member on the right of me asks a question, before another board member on the right will be permitted to ask the question, we will go to the board on the left to give everybody an opportunity, a fair share, so we don't monopolize time on one side. Are there any questions or comments, board members? Ms. Barrow?
I just want to comment on the wonderful things that WHRO has done for our school system over the years. I've been in it for many, many years, and especially stepping up to the plate during the pandemic with all the things, innovative things that you came with. The return on our dollars, I know how it's paid off. Thank you so much.
Thank you. For those of you who don't know the story, I'll just briefly, if I may tell it. When the pandemic hit, I got a call from the superintendent saying, online learning is fine for high school kids, maybe for middle school, but it's not very good for elementary school. And then the Department of Education called me and said, look, a lot of schools don't have great internet access, robust high broadband, so what can you do? So we created what was called Virginia TV Classroom. We worked with teachers throughout the region. They did their Zoom lessons, as they would have that day if they were back in school. We took their lessons and we turned them into TV shows. So for every day for 9 months, we've had 3 hours a day of 15-minute classes that you could turn on your TV, and it would be 1st through 7th grade. You knew the time, and we had lesson plans all put together, and every public media station in Virginia carried it. So every student had access to the courses of where they would have been March, April, May, and into the next school year by watching TV. So it was a service the schools asked for, and we were able to turn that around 2 weeks after the pandemic really started up and everybody started shutting down. So, yeah.
Any board members? Board Member Jenkins?
Thank you. I just want to ditto what Mrs. Byram said, because that program you're talking about, I saw that in living color with my granddaughter, and it was phenomenal. And thank you so much for your dedication.
Board Member Brooks Buck?
How are you? I had the double opportunity, I guess, to work with the WHRO program and the board, and to be a part of. I got a chance to ask for permission and got a chance to see the African American history class and to listen to students as they interacted with their teacher in the classroom at Kings Fork High School. And it's just phenomenal what you all have done with history. And it's just amazing the way that students responded to the program and how they're still responding to the program. So I just want to thank you. I've seen the early childhood program and the way that it's been enhanced, especially during COVID. We talked about it and how much it added to what we had to offer. As you know, how Suffolk and other rural areas, because we have some rural areas, and you've talked about how they were impacted. And so I just want to say thank you for what you all did, because it really made a difference here in Suffolk.
And I should say, really, ultimately you folks, it's the superintendents and school board members who tell us what you need. You know, while Elmer's an educator, I'm not. I just listen to what folks like Dr. Gordon and others ask us to do, and we salute and try to do whatever we can to help support the schools. That's our job.
Are there any additional questions or comments, board members? We just want to say thank you for your time.
Thank
and
you
we
very much.
appreciate you.
Good night.
This is another classic example of what working together could produce. It's not about who gets the glory, who gets the silver dollar at the end of the race. The key is we all have to cross the finish line together. And we're grateful for being one of the partners in making sure WHRO is able to continue their great tradition of service. At this time, we're going to have our calendar presentation.
As a reminder, Mr. Chair, that presentation took place during the work session, and it was staff recommendation of option 1 to the board for the calendar for 23-24.
Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
The motion to adopt option 1 was made by Board Member Brittingham and second by Vice Chair Howell. Is there any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk.
Board members, please vote. Motion passed.
Our next item on the agenda is the approval of a special meeting of the school board for the superintendent's 2023-2024 proposed budget presentation, and that date is February 23rd, 2023, 6 p.m. at the City Council chambers. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
The motion to approve had been made by Vice Chair Howell and seconded by Dr. Brittingham, Board Member Dr. Brittingham. Any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk.
Board members, please vote. Motion passed.
The next item on the agenda is scheduling of a joint meeting with City Council for 3 p.m. on February 1st, 2023 at City Council Chambers. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
The motion to approve has been made by Board Member Brittingham and second by Board Member Brooks Buck. Is there any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk.
Board members, please vote. Motion passed.
The next item is Resolution 22/23-9, a resolution for the school board of the City of Suffolk, Virginia, adopting a code of ethics for board members. A code of ethics for members of the Suffolk City School Board. Do we have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
A second?
Second.
The motion has been made by Board Member Brooks Buck and second by Board Member Barham. Is there any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk.
I'd like to ask that the clerk read the code of ethics,
Okay.
if possible.
A resolution of the School Board of the City of Suffolk, Virginia, adopting a code of ethics for board members of the Suffolk City School Board. Whereas, as a member of the Suffolk City School Board, hereinafter referred to as School Board, it is important that each member of the school board strive to be an advocate for students and to improve public education. And whereas each member of the school board should have integrity in all matters and support the full development of all children and the welfare of the community, Commonwealth of Virginia, and the nation. And whereas each member of the school board should attend school board meetings and seek to be informed concerning issues under consideration. And whereas each member of the school board understands that the authority for the administration of the schools is vested in the superintendent, and the superintendent is responsible for establishing a process of accountability for administrators. And whereas each member of the school board will seek to encourage individual school board member expressions of opinion and will also seek to facilitate an open, two-way communication process with all segments of the community. And whereas each member of the school board agrees to communicate to the full school board and superintendent in accordance with school board policies, public reaction, and opinion regarding school board policies and school programs. And whereas each member of the school board will seek to encourage desired changes through legal and ethical procedures in accordance with all laws, state regulation, and court orders pertaining to schools. And whereas each member of the school board agrees not to use the position of school board member for personal or partisan gain and will seek to avoid any conflict of interest or the appearance of impropriety. And whereas each member of the school board will respect the confidentiality of privileged information and will make no individual decisions or commitments that might compromise the actions of the school board or school administration. And whereas each member of the school board will seek to be informed about current educational issues through individual study and participation in appropriate programs, such as those sponsored by the Virginia School Boards Association and the National School Board Association. And whereas each member of the school board will always remember that the foremost concern of the school board is to improve and enhance the teaching and learning experience for all students in the public schools in Virginia. Be it resolved, therefore, that each member of the school board has indicated their agreement with this resolution and has affixed their signature to the same this 12th day of January, 2023.
Thank you so much. At this time, the motion has been made and second, and the resolution has been read. Is there any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk.
Board members, please vote. Motion passed.
Thank you. At this time, we will have a resolution of the school board of the City of Suffolk regarding the code of conduct for the clerk of the Suffolk City School Board. Do we have a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
The motion to approve has been made by Vice Chair Howell and second by Board Member Brooks Buck. Any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, ready for the vote?
Board members, please vote. Motion passed.
As you can see, the ordinances are informational. We are not taking any action on those items tonight. We are going to move forward with our agenda. Those actions will come up for a vote up or down at our next board meeting. And we're going to move forward to at this time, we're talking about our board development and training. My computer is messed up. So I just want to take this time to stress this fact to each board member and get your insight on what should our next step of actions be. Board members, it is no secret that we all come from different backgrounds and we have different expertise and different viewpoints on some things. However, if we're going to be the most impactful and effective board we could possibly be, we have to receive training. I have reached out to the VSBA, which we are a member of, and I asked for information regarding becoming a board member of, becoming a board of distinction and a master board, which also requires us to undergo trainings, review policies and procedures, and a host of other things. But before we can get on that track, we have to have basic training to make sure we understand and know our roles. This is not to take a shot or a jab at any board member or anyone in particular, because when I came to the board, I had an understanding that I soon found out was not exactly what I had the authority to do. And even as a sitting board member, I had to remind myself continuously that what is my role as it means to governing versus the superintendent's roles as it means administration. And the two can work harmoniously together if we respectfully stay in our own lane. So what I'm asking is, what are your thoughts about coming together and have a training session in Charlottesville at the VSBA's office regarding board development to help us understand our role, to help us learn how to navigate through tough times, understand the finance procedures that we go through, understand how we work with our local legislators so we can help continue to put Suffolk Public Schools in the best light. And I'm going to do something different. I'm going to put every board member on the spot tonight because I want everyone to talk. So we're going to start with our left. Board Member Barham, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, I've been on the board a long time. I've been to many training sessions in Charlottesville. I think I've been to 2 or 3, if I remember correctly, and under different superintendents, and I found them to be very worthwhile and helped us grow as a board. And I'm in favor of that.
Board Member Slingloff?
Likewise, I am also in favor of any opportunity to further grow and learn.
Board Member Brooks Buck?
I too have been through the training with different superintendents, and as you know in my background, my last job was training superintendents. So I think that any type of training with us as a group working together, as a group professionally, is something that we could all use. There's always an opportunity to learn. So I have no problem with that.
Board Member Jenkins?
Thank you. I don't think it's an option. I think we should, if we want to do our best and we were elected to serve this district, whatever borough, this is our job to be trained so we can do it correctly. So I'm in favor.
Board Member Brittingham.
I too am in favor of this. I think it's an excellent idea for us to do this for team building. And I'd also like to add that we should probably go through some parliamentary training as well. I think if we're really going to grasp the totality of what we need to do sitting here as board members, we need to understand the process involved. And Robert's Rule of Order and parliamentary proceeding training, I think, is just essential.
I concur. Vice Chair Howe.
I support this endeavor as well, and I agree with Dr. Brittingham. Me personally, I would like additional training in parliamentary procedure. I'm learning by watching, but I have much more room to grow and to soak up. And this is my team, this is your team, and I want to build this team.
And I concur. At the end of the day, everyone, we're going to work together, as you just witnessed from the mouths of your own respective board members. We are going to set aside the isms, our personal feelings about whatever, and we're going to do what's in the best interest of our children and staff and taxpayers here at Suffolk Public Schools. In addition to this training, as Board Member Brittingham mentioned, we're talking about team building, building and establishing trust. And one of the most vital parts is communication. Most people fall out because of a misunderstanding, because there was a gap in communication. So if we are going to move forward and build the best SPS, we are willing to work together. And we ask that you be as well, to work alongside of us as partners so we can navigate these waters ahead as one city, one division, one SPS. It's not the tale of two cities. It's not Northern End versus Central. It's not Central versus Southern End. It's not Old Suffolk versus Nansemond County. It's not new money versus old money. It's the city of Suffolk, SPS. We're in it to win it, building great students in an exceptional school system, inspiring a shared vision while modeling the way. And that's what we're going to do, continue to keep our students focused at our primary center. Board members, please be on the lookout for additional information from the clerk regarding upcoming training. If you have not registered for the state Capitol Conference, please do so. If you're a new board member, I think you all are already taking your new board member training already. I commend you on that. Thank you all so much. You're hitting the ground running. And I know it is a lot to take in. You got elected in November, and you have to come and do budget and all this other stuff in your first 60 days. And it can be overwhelming. And I appreciate you for picking up the phone and using it as an olive branch to reach out so we can tread through these ways together. It's not a us versus them. That's why we have the new seating chart. I don't know if y'all can notice this, but we are breaking barriers through unity. We are in this thing together. One city, one mission, and we're gonna rock, and our students are gonna benefit behind it. Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Chairman, your training for chair and vice chair will be available during
We already
the
registered.
January meeting. So you will have at that time parliamentary procedures for you and Madam Vice Chair during that time.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Board Member Brooks Buck. When it was regarded parliamentary procedure, us as a board is what I believe that the notion was. And we're excited about it. I don't think we can never have too much training. As long as you're willing to glean from the training and implement what you know, I think we can move forward in the right direction. Y'all, we're making a cake. And sometimes it may look a little messy, but I guarantee you, you will enjoy the finished product. Our next item on the agenda is public comments, or the late agenda speakers. At this time, we're going to ask our Madam Clerk if she would read the statement, and then we would move forward from there. Thank you.
It is the intent of the school board to ensure that the affairs of the board be conducted in an open and orderly manner, that all persons desiring to address the board are afforded an opportunity to do so in the order in which they sign up to speak, that persons in attendance may observe and hear the proceedings of the board without distraction, and that the members of the board and board employees are able to transact the business of the board with minimal disruption. Any persons addressing the board shall, 1, confine their comments to matters germane to the business of the school board of the city of Suffolk. 2, refrain from words or statements which from their usual construction and common acceptance are construed as insults intended to incite violence or breach of the peace. 3, refrain from obscenity, vulgarity, or other breach of respect. 4, comply with the time limit for public comment as set by the board, which can be up to 5 minutes, unless the board, through the exercise of its discretion, decides to allow less than 5 minutes for public comment. 5, refrain from cumulative or repetitive remarks. And 6, refrain from making any comment regarding any pending student discipline or employee grievance matters. The appropriate form for such matters is the applicable administrative hearing provided by state law or, where appropriate, court proceeding. Expressive activities including, but not limited to, petitioning, picketing, displaying signs or posters, solicitation, demonstrating, pamphlet distribution, and conducting polls shall not be permitted in the waiting areas and corridors of any school building in which the board is meeting. Persons addressing the board may deliver to the board or its clerk written materials including reports, statements, exhibits, letters, or signed petitions, and may also make use of any chart or graph during their verbal presentation. The school board welcomes comments from the public as appropriate. Board members will listen to public comment but will not comment, deliberate, or take actions on them. The school board chair may direct the superintendent to investigate items and report back to the school board at a subsequent meeting. The chairman or other presiding officer shall preserve decorum and shall decide all questions of public order subject to appeal to the board. At the request of the chairman or superintendent, a city police officer shall act as sergeant-at-arms at tonight's board meeting. The officer shall, under the direction of the chairman, superintendent, or other presiding officer, have charge of the auditorium, the waiting areas, and corridors adjacent thereto, and shall prevent disorder or interruption of the business of the board. Please state your name and address before speaking.
At this time, we will have our first speaker, Mr. Travis McKinney, A Better Way to Spend $27 million.
Evening, Mr. Riddick. Congratulations, sir. I want to honestly tell you that I was excited to listen to your statements in December when you started talking about it was time to put children first in our education. I was reminded of that in the first January meeting. Let's put children first. Let's talk about strategies and how to put children first. In front of each board member, you should have the proposal from Suffolk Public Schools on how to spend $27 million of American Relief Act and ESSER 3 funding. I'll make sure that this PDF and as well as a couple other resources will be in your inbox tomorrow. I do honestly state that I am optimistic for change in this school board. So let's begin the conversation on how to spend $27 million. This proposal that you're reading in front of you does not put children first. First time I read through this document, I thought this is obviously a hoax. Second time I read through the document, I said whoever put this document out and approved it for public display is not serious about this document at all. By all appearances, this document was slapped together as only as a necessary placeholder to fulfill a requirement that you have to have a plan as a local education agency and how you're going to spend $27 million. In any respect, this document is not serious. It mischaracterizes and purposely ignores the intent of the act as it's passed in Congress. You have an FAQ sheet attached to that. I will send you a secondary FAQ sheet that gives you better resources on how to spend $27 million. First question I have on this, and I've asked multiple people, who has the authority to spend this money? Where is the oversight provided to spend $27 million? That's a serious question. I would really like to have an answer to that. I've been chasing this for 3 months, and I can't get an answer from anybody. When you do the math to this document, there's a $516,000 shortfall to it. Now, whoever put this document together missed $516,000, and they're doing their math. Even a student of Common Core math can't miss $516,000 error, regardless if you say the sums are approximate. $516,000. That's why I say this is not a serious document. It's an aftermath. $516,000 is the exact amount used for prevention and risk mitigation strategies. Documents in front of you. So let's address the intent as Congress passed this law. Let's read through some of the finer things. Addressing unfinished learning. 20% of funds have to go toward addressing unfinished learning. Suffolk Public Schools will use approximately $11.1 million of its funds to address unfinished learning as described below. Suffolk Public Schools will be addressing unfinished learning through the implementation of the following. SPS Saturday Academy. 15 students, if you get lucky enough to register, voluntary participation. Before and after school tutoring, online, virtual, if the student voluntarily comes in. Virtual tutoring services across the division, as well as some odds and ends, replacement Chromebooks and things like this. The administration suggests voluntary attendance by students before and after Saturdays for virtual tutoring, and also, virtual, learning, remote learning through summer school. And we all know that virtual remote learning is a failure. The reason why we're standing here today talking about $27 million is because virtual and remote learning is a failure. The president of the National School Board Association said on Monday, virtual remote learning is a failure. And yet this proposal, we're going to virtually remote teach our kids through something that fails. That makes no sense. Everybody understands the definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over and expecting different results. We know virtual learning, remote learning does not work. According to this document, there was a lot of conversations with professionals, people with buy-in, people vested in children. As the intent of the law states, my child in this school division is an ethnic minority. Nobody reached out to talk to me about this plan. I dare say nobody talked to the school board, because in the document where you list all these people and organizations, nowhere in that document did it say that anybody reached out to the school board to discuss this spending proposal. See, we have an opportunity for change in Suffolk. We have an opportunity to do something with $27 million that will benefit children. Other uses of the funds, wow, I am running out of time fast. Other uses of the funds, we want to turn our teachers into behavioral scientists or behavioral masters or PhDs with some type of Jedi mind trick on behavioral studies. We want to do that through restorative practices, equity training, culturally responsive instruction, social emotional learning. That's failed ideology. It's failed for the last 10 years in the school system. Look at the VODA, 31 seconds. Look at the VDOE. The VDOE statistics clearly state that those policies fail, but yet you're going to embrace them. You have $27 million. You have opportunities to do something beneficial. You have a vocational school, open it 24/7, 365 days a year. Let your summer school students go to those programs. Bring back carpentry, bring back plumbing, bring back electrical things. You have a ton of other things. I have a young man behind. You all have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. McKinney. In an effort of transparency, I have a timer here, and this is the timer I was going by. So I know there were several people calling out time, but I'm going to go by the timer that the clerk says that I have access to. I do want to set the decorum. We are in this thing together, and I understand we're going to be passionate about either sides of the spectrum. But our passion does not give us room to be disrespectful of anyone, okay? So I know there may be some people who have wished I stopped them 30 seconds earlier, but I'm going by the timer that I have access in front of me that is set by the clerk. Madam Clerk, when they begin to start speaking, their time starts at that moment. At this time, we will have our next speaker. Please forgive me for messing up your name if I do, but it's Mr. Jair Anderson. Please
Good
state your
evening.
name and address.
My name is Jair Anderson. I live at 2802 Lake Cahoon Point, Suffolk, Virginia. Good evening. I'm currently a sophomore at Old Dominion University. I'm the class of 2025. I'm also a Kings Fork High School graduate, the class of 2021. I'm here today to give input on how the SBS should spend that $11 million on academic tutoring programs. Tutoring programs could utilize college students giving input on individuals who are struggling within Suffolk Public Schools. Tutoring programs will help all students who have fallen behind with COVID restrictions and difficulty learning with hybrid or in-person learning. College students involved with tutoring programs could be reimbursed with at least $30 an hour for their time. College students are much younger and they have a different approach versus teachers who may be much older and not understanding of the child's struggles. As a Kings Fork graduate, I understand what it is to struggle academically. I took statistics with Mr. Payton, who teaches at Suffolk, and I understand how difficult it can be to catch up. And on top of that, with COVID restrictions, I know you can lag behind and you're not always able to get help. My aunt instilled in me to get a tutor out of my own time that she had to pay for with her own money, and it was at least $60 an hour just to get by with my statistics course and pass Mr. Payton's class. Another percentage of the portion of funds could be used to support social emotional learning. Not every student in Suffolk is able to pick up on quick learning habits or pick up in a routine of what they're supposed to do academically. Another avenue could help students engage more with their teachers and develop an educational standpoint so that they have at least a form of connection with their teachers that they see on a day-to-day basis. How students apply themselves and hard work within school is everything. The sooner they learn to get into a routine and have a consistent focus provides them with a better public school experience, which in turn will help them get into significantly good universities. I remember applying to so many universities, the University of Virginia, Lynchburg, and I finally settled on the Old Dominion University. It was a challenging process, having transitioned from living in Brooklyn, New York, losing my mom, and moving over in 2019 in the Suffolk Public Schools. And many times I felt I was abandoned within the Suffolk Public Schools. There was no support, there were no tutoring programs, there was nothing to help me academically. Everything was on my own. Facing problems does build the student's character, and it helps them prepare for the real world. Someone like myself, I don't want to be in the Navy. I can't be in the Navy. I can't be in the Army. I can't do any of those jobs. I have to go out there in the real world and get it. And with tutoring, it allows me to at least have a connection with younger individuals who are going through the same thing and have somebody to give them support, knowing that they're not alone in the journey. I think the problem is that within the Suffolk Public Schools, there's more of an approach to just outpush a lot of things to help students, but there's no one-on-one with students and what they are understanding or what they can learn. Looking at it from a perspective of being an adult versus a student, you impose for them to just learn the material and pick up at a quick pace. But not every child is like that. To sum things up, I remember attending Kings Fork High School from the year 2019 and graduating until 2021. I know firsthand what it's like to struggle within the course and feeling a sense of relief from getting help from my teachers. Many of them only have a small amount of time and they are double in the age of you. I know the experience of paying double-digit numbers to afford a tutor. The younger version of myself would jump at an opportunity like this to seek out a tutor and get help within the school system and not have to pay for a tutor out of my own time. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Mr. Desmond Rawls, Kings Fork High School Marching Band and other activities.
Good evening. My name is Desmond Rawls. I'm a 10th grader at Kings Fork High School, and I come here tonight as a voice of the award-winning Kings Fork High School Mighty Marching Bulldogs. My sister is in 7th grade and attends Kings Fork Middle School. As of January 10th, 2023, our family was told she and all 7th graders of SPS are no longer allowed to participate in the marching band because of the grade that they're in. She started last August in band camp and marched all fall season as a Maroon Fire flag. After all the hard work and dedication that she has put in, her amazing coach has done was for nothing. She has put in a ton of work to get to where she is now, along with many other SPS students. If she is not allowed to participate in the band, what was all the work that she did and all the money my mom spent was for? My sister loves the band, and the director of fine arts wants to take that away from her. Desiree, my sister, has made so many friends and grown so much in the 6 months that she has been a part of our amazing team. She has put in the work to make sure her grades are where they need to be, and she has put in countless hours of practice to get to this point. Dr. Neighbors is trying to take that away now from so many students in Suffolk. Why is that an issue now? I started marching band in 7th grade and had no issue. Many band members started in 7th grade, so why take that away now? If this is a new rule that Suffolk Public Schools wants to start, it needs to start at the beginning of a school year, not in the middle where the students are already a part of the band. Why make them wait a season to march again? The band is supposed to be fun. Why take that away from so many Suffolk students? A wise person once told me, fine arts is one of the most important things to get involved in. Why not let them start in 7th grade? If students' parents or guardians let them, just do that. Some students join band as an outlet due to situations that they can't control. I honestly say our band is one huge family. The Mighty Marching Bulldogs does a lot for Kings Fork High School and the community, and we get nothing in return. Our amazing band director, Mr. Bradley, coaches, and our amazing band boosters work so hard to try to make sure what we have is what we need. We receive no support from the school, and we are not allowed to use the concession stands for games at nights to help raise money for our events. We are asked to do so many things and get nothing in return from Kings Fork High School. Out of my 5 years of marching, we have only had one administrator come support our marching band, and that is Mrs. Awadney. As a whole, I want to thank her for her continuous love and support. Out of all the sports at Kings Fork High School, we bring in the most scholarships, and they don't even classify band as a sport. But yet we have to get a sports physical. The marching band is not even under the Virginia High School League, so why are you now trying to put us in the same box? If that's the case, we should have the same privileges as football and basketball. Please help me make that make sense. My job tonight is to make sure everyone is aware that we are one strong Bulldog family that sticks together. Just because you're in the 7th grade doesn't mean you shouldn't be allowed to join marching band. And that goes for all Suffolk Public Schools marching bands, not just the Kings Fork High School Mighty Marching Bulldogs. The lower grades are what keep the band growing. Changes need to be made, and our voices need to be heard. Not now, but later. As Dr. King once said, our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. This is something that matters to me and so many others. I refuse to stay silent anymore. I will not stop trying until the band gets what we deserve and have worked so hard for. I will do everything in my power to make sure my sister and all 7th graders in Suffolk get what they have worked so hard for. This is not fair to them. Our band motto is change the culture, and that is what I'm going to do and what I'm going to fight for. No matter what it takes, I will not give up on something this great. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Ms. Kristen O'Neill, Pod Squad, a program we developed at Northern Shores Elementary School.
Good evening, Superintendent my name is Kirsten O'Neill. I live at 3504 Prices Fork Boulevard in North Suffolk. Okay. Good evening, Dr. Gordon, is it Mr. Chair or Chairman? I don't know. Mr. Chair, Madam Chair, and the fellow board members. I remember sitting in this very room last spring, and I believe it was you, Mr. Riddick, who made a plea to us parents. You asked us to think outside the box and maybe asked us to tutor, which if you ask my kid after the COVID nightmare, I'm not a good tutor. to come up with a way to help these kids. I may not be good at tutoring, but I am really good at volunteering and fostering a community. When volunteers were first allowed back in the building, there was a lot of anger among my peers. Why couldn't we be back in the classroom? What good is volunteering when you can only be in the cafeteria or in the library? As their fingers hit the keyboards hard in anger, my incredible team, including Zoe Williams, Samantha DeLange, Carol Paskett, Corey Young, along with our brand new administration, the incredible Mr. Barboza, and the ever-talented Dr. Wilkins, and myself hit the pavement running. We knew the greatest need for help was the cafeteria. The saying, many hands make light work, really comes into play here. Anyone who has ever spent a second in an elementary school cafeteria knows there are countless amounts of milks to open, lots of juice boxes, so many fruit snacks that you can't even begin to put it into words. And if the Mott's Company or the makers of the Lunchables happen to see this somewhere on the internet land, please do us all a favor and make those babies easier to open, because I can't tell you how embarrassing it is to be in your 30s and lose a fight with a package in front of a 5-year-old. So, back to my story. Our lunches run from 10:40 to 1:30. From past experience, signups don't work. The pressure of commitment is too much for grown adults. Doing it as a PTA doesn't work either, because whether we like to admit it or not, the elephant in the room is there's a stigma around PTA. So we can fight to end that stigma forever, but people, as soon as they hear PTA, are like, that's not for me. So that's when the Pod Squad was created. A revolving list of volunteers who had all been vouched through our Volunteer Connect system. In order to volunteer, they have to be on this list. A form went home to all parents, and we emailed out to everyone as well, so that no one could say they didn't get it. Once that form was returned, we verified that they were in Volunteer Connect and added them to our list. From the hours of 10:30 to 1:30 every single day, we welcome volunteers into the lunchroom. It doesn't matter if you can come for 30 minutes or 3 hours, whatever you can give us, we'll take it. We created these vests so that the kids can easily identify the volunteers. So if we have these vests on, the kids know, hey, we're the ones to open your milk. There's no pressure on parents, and like I said, we take any help we can get. The reality is, some days we have multiple parents and some days we have none. Our teachers appreciate our volunteers so much and can feel it when they see us around the corner and we see their smiles, because it means that they get a break during that lunch. Now let's talk data. That sounds great, doesn't it? But it's gonna fizzle. Nope, you're wrong. We launched the program in November. The Pod Squad that month tracked 100-hour volunteer hours. Come into December, we tracked 83.5 volunteer hours with 2 less weeks in that month. Now let's talk about January. It's January 13th. We're already at 37 hours from parents so far this month. Those are legit hours done by people, not paid by Suffolk Public Schools, but volunteers in our building. In addition to the cafeteria duty, we also, as a Pod Squad, have raised pumpkins for the first grade, assisted in the holiday bazaar, and assisted with our teacher breakfast to celebrate the holidays. Now, you may be wondering why we called it the Pod Squad. Over at Northern Shores, we are a family, including our mascot, Splash the Dolphin. The family and community is driven by Dr. Williams, who has effortlessly stepped into her role as principal from vice principal the years prior. Every child who walks through that door is her baby. Our group of dolphins is called a pod. At Northern Shores, a group of volunteers is called the Pod Squad. I'm incredibly proud of our team and the lemons we have made from lemonade over the years. I see a lot online of people saying we can't do this and we can't do that. I guess I wanted to come before you tonight to let you know that not only do we sincerely thank you for encouraging us to think outside the box, but I also want to be a testament to where there's a will, there's a way. Have a great night. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. On behalf of the board, we would like to thank all the speakers who took time out of your busy schedules today to come and share your concerns and testimonies on your experiences within Suffolk Public Schools. I do want to take this time to provide a little context regarding the situation going on with Kings Fork High School Marching Band. I did ask Dr. Gordon to provide me with additional information. Through research, this is a result of a VHSL requirement. Dr. Neighbors and staff are looking for but a lack of better terms, other ways where we can be creative within the operations of that requirement. So we will be getting back in contact with you. And when I say we, I'm referring to Dr. Gordon and his administrative team. They will be getting back in contact with you, and that could be through your building administrator. Just want to let you know that what you said, it did not fall on deaf ears. We are listening. We're working towards coming up with a solution. Miss, I just want to say thank you so much, because oftentimes we identify problems and we stop. Then we identify an additional problem and we stop. But if we're all going to have ownership in building the best SPS, once we identify the problem, we all have to work together on identifying a solution and keep trying, because eventually something will stick. At this time, we're going to move forward to business by board members. Each board member, we are going to ask that you be conscious of time. The time limit will be set to 2 minutes regarding business, and we're going to do just as we did when it came to questions regarding our presenter. And we're going to start on our right side of the room with Board Member Slingloff.
I get to be the first one to jump right in. Well, first of all, I just want to thank you, Board Chair Riddick, for your leadership. I'm very excited about the year ahead. I'm very excited about this opportunity. I want to thank the citizens of the Chuckatuck Borough for their willingness to invest their faith in me as I step out to support our school system, to support our teachers, our staff, our parents, our families, and most importantly, the children in Suffolk Public Schools. I'm excited about what lies ahead for this year, and I want to thank all of those who came forward tonight to speak. That's very encouraging to me. Even on the campaign trail for this position, the greatest pleasure that I had was meeting with the citizens in the community and hearing their stories, both positive, negative, all the things that they had to say. And it's vital that it's not just the board up here, but it's all the members of the community and the parents within the school systems that come and participate in these meetings and are courageous enough to stand up and to share their thoughts and ideas as well. And together, I think it's going to be a great year. So thank you so much, and I hope you all have a great evening.
Thank you so much, Board Member Slingloff. Board Member Barron.
Thank you, Chair Riddick. Couple of things I want to emphasize. I hope I won't go over my time limit, but I speak slow because I'm from the South, so maybe you'll allow a little bit of time for me. I want to again congratulate Dr. Gordon on his award, which he recently received. Since Dr. Gordon has been with us, he has received several recognitions in our region and our state and national, and I commend him for that, for all of the accolades that he is bringing to our school system. And when we hired Dr. Gordon back in 2019, we told him we wanted him to think out of the box. He brought us a plan, and he has fulfilled many of those things. And one of those things was communication, which has been excellent since he has been superintendent. I want to also thank Ms. Dickens and her community engagement group, understaffed, but now soon will be fully staffed. They have done an excellent job getting the word of Suffolk Public Schools out, and I really like the new approach. I think that's more user-friendly, and I think it will be accepted by the public and our stakeholders much better. Also, I want to congratulate the Finance Department. I don't want anyone to overlook Ms. Forsman and her understaffed group and all of our school bookkeepers who, again, received a perfect audit for the second consecutive year. Those bookkeepers are being instructed on what they should do. We don't get any remarks, and I'm very proud of that. For the second year on activities and general funding. So that's to be commended. A lot of school systems, they have a list very thick like this. We don't have any. One other thing, a couple other things. I want to say thank you to Ms. O'Neill for thinking out of the box and for all those volunteer hours, the pod squad. That's a wonderful idea. And keep thinking out of the box, because that's what we need. We need more volunteers, and now that things are opening up a little bit, I hope you will think of some other ways that you can be of help, and maybe in other schools as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Board Member Byron. At this time, we will have board member comments by Board Member Jenkins.
Thank you. First of all, I want to congratulate our superintendent for our honor well deserved, and I want to thank your team for being a team of purpose, and I know that they're behind you and they support you 100%. Congratulations to everyone else that we saw tonight that has earned a reward, and I want to thank everyone for coming up and speaking what you felt in your heart that we needed to hear. And as our chairman said, it did not go on deaf ears. I look forward to showing Suffolk and our surrounding cities of what a cohesive board looks like, how we can work together, and how we can get things done, and we will be the model board for the 7 cities, because there's a lot has been going on, but it's up to us to step to the plate, be adults, act like adults, and do what we need to do to continue to make SPS the best SPS. And I look forward to seeing everyone that's up here at our Capitol Conference in January, the end of January, the 30th and the 31st in Richmond. Have a good night.
Thank you, Board Member Jenkins. At this time, we will have board member comments by Board Member Brooks Buck.
Good evening. I want to thank you as well, Dr. Gordon, not just for this achievement to put us on the national map. You put us on the national map. It's interesting that we just didn't start here. We've been on the national map for quite some time, and we appreciate the fact that we've been on the national map for quite some time. You put us on the national map, especially when we talk about student achievement with the Blue Ribbon School. And I would say I hate to brag, but I really don't, because the Blue Ribbon School is in the Nansen Borough, so I really don't hate to brag. And I would talk about the pod squad, but they've been thinking out of the box for a long, long time. I want to thank you, Mrs. O'Neill, for what you've done. The PTA has done a wonderful job at Northern Shores, and they've done a wonderful job under a couple of principals at Northern Shores. They didn't just start, they've just continued to do it. And I think that it's good to recognize the fact that it takes a PTA working with administrators to come to the point where they can be a nationally recognized Blue Ribbon School and putting Suffolk Public Schools on the map. There are only 7 in Virginia, only 2 in this area. Virginia Beach has 1, and Suffolk has the other one. And so whether the board looks like what it looks like or does what it does, we've been able to do an extremely great job over the years. So I want to thank you for what you've done. I want to thank our staff for what they've done, because a major part of being a functional, exceptional school system is keeping our records straight. And I want to thank you, Ms. Forsman, and your staff. I want to thank you. Our technology people have done a wonderful job. Mr. Littlefield has been understaffed for years and years and years. And because I've been here for years and years and years, I've seen it. And I've seen this team grow, and the work has come to a point where we can say we're nationally recognized and we can get things on the map. It didn't just begin. We're just going off the rails at this point in time. So I want to say congratulations to our whole team for the work that they're doing. We have no place to go but up. Our students have gained millions of dollars in scholarships over the years, and that didn't just happen. It's going to continue to happen if we keep our focus where it's supposed to be. I'm sure my 2 minutes are up. I want to say thank you to all my students, and I claim them all, whether they're at Northern Shores or whether they're at Nansemond River or whether they're at Fred Cherry or wherever they are at Kings Fort. I talked about you and your band and how well you performed. I'll say this to you, and I know I'm over time, but you know I'm Baptist, so we tend to forget about these are Baptist minutes. I have a friend who is an administrator in Chesapeake, and you all performed at a school in Chesapeake, and even though he's a principal, he told me what a wonderful job Kings Fork did. Your band actually outperformed his band. He and I sing together. And he had to make a positive comment about your band. I'm prayerful that things will work out, and I know the rules are difficult to deal with, but I know you all will handle it because you did exceptionally well when you were out of our sight, and you'll keep doing that. So we're looking at those things, and I know we'll work something out. Congratulations to all of you for what you've done. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you so much. At this time, we will have board member comments by Board Member Brittingham. Thank you.
Good evening. Holy Nick Borough, I just want to thank you once again for electing me and allowing me to have the privilege to come sit up here and represent. I echo what my sister Kim says. It is a privilege and an honor to be able to represent my constituents. I just want to take a few minutes to talk about a visit that Mr. Riddick and I had this week. I was able to go and visit Lakeland High School and see their new performance arts department, and it is phenomenal. I would encourage anybody who loves fine arts to go look at the school calendar and find out when they're going to do a performance, because they are really doing a great job over there. It is an amazing facility. Principal White gave us a wonderful tour. I really enjoyed getting to know her and to being able to speak with the students and with the staff in the fine arts department there. They have an excellent program happening, and I know great things are going to be coming out of that program. I also had the ability to go to CCAP with Mr. Riddick, and they too are doing wonderful things. I am really encouraged with what I saw in our vocational in our college and career facility. I specifically was able to go to the automotive department and see this new paint room that they have that everyone has been talking about, and it is amazing. It is up to the caliber of somewhere like Mike Duman's. It was really amazing, and the gentleman, Mr. Griffith, that is running that program is doing a phenomenal job, and he loves what he does, and you could just see it. I really appreciate Principal Burgess, who gave us the tour there as well. It was really nice to get to know her. And both of these facilities, great things are happening there. I want to also speak to the young college gentleman that came up here, Mr. Anderson. Thank you for coming forward and sharing your concerns. I also want to thank Mr. McKinney, who was before him, to share those concerns as well. But the thing that I really liked about both of them is that they want to bring solutions. And so I want to thank them for not only bringing forward the concern or the problem, but the fact that they want to be part of the solution. And I have a term here that I want to present to the board. I see them wanting to be resolutionists, and I think that we need to be in the market of being resolutionists, not just pointing out the problems, but bringing forward really good solutions. And so as a board, as we go through our training for parliamentary procedure training and board training, I hope that we seek to all be resolutionists in this process. And the one last thing I'd like to say is I would like to give my prayers out to the teacher and the family and the educators of Rich Neck Elementary. Let them know that our thoughts and prayers are with them, and that we are grateful that things didn't happen worse over there than they could have. So thank you again.
Thank you, Board Member Brittingham, for your kind words. At this time, we're going to have board business by board members from our Vice Chair Howell.
Thank you, Board Chair Riddick. Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. Welcome back. I'm going to start with my list to try and keep myself on track for the important things, but keep it brief. I also want to extend my congratulations to Dr. Gordon. I have come to know him a bit better over this past year, and I know I don't know all the things, obviously, but I can say that I respect his passion for the school system, his ability to think outside the box, and his creativity. And one of the things that I acknowledge the most in him is his, not just his ability to communicate, but his willingness to do so and making himself accessible to the parents, to the students, to us on the board, really generally to anyone who has a vested interest in Suffolk Public Schools. Congratulations to all the spotlighted teachers. Special notice to my high school friend, Kelly Outlaw. And with the first semester ending, parents, now would be a good time to start having those conversations pretty quickly. Are you missing any work? How can I help you get it done? And find a way to bridge the gap between doing it for them and completely leaving them to figure it out on their own. Because the semester's ending, as they said, on January 30th. So you've got a small window of time left to encourage them to end this semester on a positive note and start the next one with really good study habits and discipline. And I am preaching to the choir, I know, but I'm in this season with my own 2 teenagers, and it is not a fun job, but one well worth doing. I also wanted to thank Mr. Anderson. I know he's left, but I appreciate that he maintains a vested interest in SPS specifically, having only spent 2 years here, coming back to us with his concern, but also, like Dr. Bradingham said, with his solution. And I think it's a great idea. Obviously, that is not me saying, hey, let's do it, but I acknowledge that he thought something through. He saw a deficit in his own experience, and now he sees an ability he has where he can fill a gap for us. And so I just like that he stepped up here and suggested that, and he's willing to come back and serve our community. And Ms. O'Neill, I always love your enthusiasm. I would ask, since we have such a stellar PTA over there and our pod squad is on point, that maybe we consider trying to mentor some newer PTAs or some PTAs that might be straggling with membership and activity and ideas, because really, especially at the elementary level, PTA can be so impactful for the kids and the teachers. And so I would ask, in your very, very minimal free time, find somebody that you can share your knowledge with, because you've been a blessing to Northern Shores, and I'm sure you can reach out even further. I will say this. There were folks tonight that were probably watching this meeting hoping to have some level of excitement akin to, the most recent Spider-Man or some kind of action movie. Sorry to disappoint, but I am proud and grateful and humbled and honored to work with all of these people. We are all from very different backgrounds, and I can say truthfully that these are good humans. I can also say truthfully, I haven't agreed with these good humans daily, but that is how we fill the gaps, because our gaps come from a variety of backgrounds. So the willingness to come forward and say, here's what I think, and have hard conversations covered in grace and respect. We have an ability here to do amazing things for our kids. The words that I keep hearing tonight, the most important vocabulary word, if you will, is students. It's all about the students. Wendy's efforts are to make sure the students are fully funded and we can do all the amazing things they need us to do. Ms. O'Neill's efforts are for the students at Northern Shores. We're all sitting up here because we are worried about, care for, and notice the power in these students to be the next generation and do the next great thing. And lastly, I would say to Board Chair Riddick, thank you for your leadership tonight. Good night.
Thank you, Vice Chair Howell. Ditto to everything that has been said. We are in this together. We are in it together. And if we continue the way we have started tonight, we can achieve greater things than what anyone has foreseen. At the end of the day, it's not about you, it's not about me, but it's all about our children. Remember, SPS creates achievers, and we are in this together. The next item on the agenda is the informational item, which includes accident reports, capital projects, financial statements, financial reports, December 31, 2022. This is informational item for the board and the citizens. I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Who made the motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, the motion to adjourn was made by Board Member Brooks Buck and second by Board Member Dr. Brittingham. Is there any discussion? Anybody want to stay until 11, 12, 1? Okay, Madam Clerk?
Board members, please vote. Passed.
Thank you all for coming out. Love someone on purpose. Take time in life and enjoy it. This meeting is adjourned.
I did not.